Caroline Dowd Higgins. Thank you for listening to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. You spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I'm delighted to welcome my very special guest to the show today, Pamela Weinberg. Pamela, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Hey, I'm really excited. You are a kindred spirit in many ways. You're a career coach and a personal branding strategist. And I want to tell our audience about you because you're working with a multitude of populations, Pamela, ranging from students and alumni to professional organizations and corporations, and specifically women in transition. So I applaud you. Love women helping women. And you're helping your clients build their personal brands to become the standout candidate of professionals in their chosen field, which I love, love, love. And you have a wide range of services for clients, including resume and LinkedIn profile development, social media training, interview prep, and job search techniques. And you've really created this incredible niche in personal branding and frequently present to the topic of colleges and universities and corporations, as well as professional organizations and nonprofits. So I know that we're going to dive into a juicy conversation today, and I'm so delighted that you're here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, and I'm a big fan and admirer of yours as well. I have
Oh
your
well,
book sitting on my shelf, so
well,
very
thank
happy
you,
to
thank
be here
you.
today.
We love what we do, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I agree about being an advocate for women. It's definitely really how I started my business, and something that I really a specific group that I really love to work with are women in transition.
So speaking of that, right, you do spend a significant part of your practice working with women in transition. And I'd love to hear from you, Pamela. What are some of the challenges you find? Because I know my listening audience is on the edge of their seat saying, okay, maybe I need a coach, and this might help them call you.
I think one of the largest challenges for this population of women who are in transition, transitioning from perhaps having had some time off at home with their children or families, or had to
Right.
take time out of the workplace to care maybe for an aging parent. I mean, this happens all the time. People do have work gaps, and sort of the longer you're out, the tougher it is to get back in, frankly. So I think one of the biggest challenges I find is really a lack of confidence. Once you walk away from the workplace, you just start to think about, sort of which skills you have that have gotten rusty, or for those who've been out for a while, maybe some certain skills that would be really important in the workplace today that they really never learned on the job. So that's one of the largest challenges, I would say.
Yeah, and I agree with you hearing you talk about leaving the workplace, and it's a tough choice for women. It's a different choice than for men in many situations. And we find now that we've got the sandwich generation of women who are taking time off to take care of elderly parents, and they've got kids in college as well.
Absolutely. So I work with a lot of people sort of in that age and stage who have had stayed home for a while, but really are ready to go back. And so there are variety of things that I help them with in order to get prepared. Because the more prepared you are, the more confidence you have. So it
So
all
true.
really works together that way.
So, Pamela, what's the first step, coach to coach? What would you do if a client came to you and said, okay, I'm looking to get back into the workplace after a leave of absence for whatever their personal reason was? What's step one?
I would say, really, the first thing I would do would be to really speak to the client about what's motivating them, what's leading them to go back to the workplace right now, what their work values are, so to speak. Are they motivated by money? Is that something that's really important to them in getting back to the workplace? Or are they looking for a job that's still going to provide them with some flexibility?
Hmm.
Because money and flexibility don't always go hand in hand.
True.
So, so we really sort of make a list of which are the things that are most important to them. And then I think that really helps them to begin to define what their career objectives are. What's the most important to them? Are they looking for full time work, for part time work, for flex time? Do they want to become an entrepreneur? They have a business idea they want to work on. And then we work backwards by figuring out, what skills do you need to get to that point, to get to your objective, to meet your goals. What do you need to do to get there? And that's when we really begin to start, thinking about maybe getting some additional training, taking some courses in their chosen field, etc.
And I'm so glad you said that, because so often I think women are paralyzed by a few years out of the workforce, even months, right? Because they say, okay, my skills have gotten rusty. Now what? So what direction would you give that woman who's in a panic about not having the competencies she needs to move forward?
I would say, take some classes or lectures or webinar. There are tons of online courses that are oftentimes free of charge, low cost. If you're more of an in-person learner, community colleges or YMCAs are often great places to find classes. And don't be afraid to dive in. You could even hire a college student to teach you how to do Excel spreadsheets. One of the biggest fears that my clients have are their sort of lack of technical skills.
What a great idea to hire a college student, because I
Yeah,
hear you. People go into a panic about Excel or
absolutely.
beyond word processing, right? How do I get up to speed?
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
working with a client right now who's just started her own business. She's an entrepreneur and has been terrified about taking the dive into social media. So she hired two college students who were doing her social media for her at, a really nice price point, maybe $15 or $20 an hour, and are teaching her along the way how to post herself on Facebook for her business. This is something that once you know it, it's a no-brainer, but a
Right.
lot of times it's getting over that hump and the fear. Can I do this? What am I going to say? So it's really hiring someone to get you that training. And once women dive in, they're just going to take to it.
Oh, I
Um,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
You also talk, Pamela, about smart volunteering. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's something that I really love. Lots of times when you have been a stay-at-home mom, you volunteer a lot, whether it's your child's school or your church or synagogue or community organization. So we're always volunteering. The schools ask a lot of parents. I say definitely volunteer, but volunteer in ways that are going to be resume builders for you. So you're sort of doing you're volunteering with a dual purpose. Yes, you're helping the schools, but also you're helping yourself build your resume and get additional skills or utilize skills you have. For instance, if you want to go back to work, say you're interested in development or fundraising at a nonprofit, share the benefit at your child's school rather than working on their website or blog. Decide to share the benefits. You're really getting all of those terrific skills you'll need to get into nonprofit development. And those are resume builders. Volunteer positions go on a resume just as well as paid positions do. So I really encourage women to choose wisely when they're volunteering.
I'm so glad you said that, because it really liberates so many of the listeners to say, I have those experiences. Now I can showcase them on my resume, on my CV, and talk about them in interviews, because those experiences count, right? Even if they are volunteers. So thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about networking, because so many women and men are just panicked about networking, right? It just
Yes,
immobilizes them. So
absolutely.
there are techniques that I know that you have to share with women who are returning to the workplace in particular. So help debunk the myths of networking, Pamela.
Okay. Well, I think it's important for people to know, and I say this all the time. 80% of jobs are gotten through people that we know. That's a
Yep,
huge number.
it is.
So I have tons of clients who are in the job search market and are really staying home at their computers and are spending all of their time sending out resumes blindly. And what happens? Nothing,
Nothing,
typically.
right?
I say to my clients, you're better off sitting in Starbucks and speaking to everyone who walks in the door. You're much more likely to get a job that way. So it's really the first thing I would
You're
say
right. You're right.
is get out of your kitchen. Get out of your kitchen table, get out of your home office, go sit in a Starbucks, talk to everyone. And what I find, I'll say to my clients, so do your friends know you're looking for a job? No, I haven't really told anyone yet. Tell everyone you know. Get your story down, get your 2 minute pitch down pat. So you can say to someone, hey, I've been out of the workplace for a while. I'm looking to return to the field of marketing. Um, I know that you know someone who works at XYZ marketing firm. Would you feel comfortable making an introduction for me? I'd love to speak to them to learn more about what they do. So I'm very careful in networking is different than looking for a job. We're
Hmm.
not calling people and saying, can you hire me? Because that's a yes or no answer. We're calling people or telling people about our job search and asking them, would you be willing to speak with me about what you do? I want to learn. Everybody loves to talk about their jobs. I'm sure you have people ask you all the time as do
Absolutely.
I.
And I think the beauty of that informational interview, right, just that storytelling opportunity is that it's non-threatening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I definitely am a big fan of the informational interview. And I also tell my clients have business cards made for yourself. It professionalizes you in the job search so that if you are standing on the soccer field at your daughter's game and you meet someone who's in the field of marketing and you want to get in touch with them and you say to them, do you have a card? And they say yes. And you say, here's my card. It professionalizes you and makes you take yourself more seriously and others take you more seriously. You can do this very low cost or even free on a site like vistaprint.com and just get some nice cards made with your name and contact information.
I love it. Good leave behind. And just to dovetail on what you said, we really need to empower the people in our world, our friends, our family, our former colleagues with our story so they can network for us in addition to the information that we're putting out there.
Absolutely. Super important.
So, Pamela, you and I are big proponents of LinkedIn, and I know you are incredible at helping people craft their LinkedIn brand. And I think we're well over 300 million members on LinkedIn, and that number grows daily. But what are some important factors that go into creating a standout LinkedIn profile?
I'm glad you asked. I think you cannot be in the job search market today without being on LinkedIn. And I think I feel if women have been out of the workplace, sometimes they're hesitant to jump onto LinkedIn because they don't feel they don't have anything to say. But
Right.
as I mentioned before, we can list our volunteer positions, other things that we've done, our other interests, and be able to tell our story in our professional summary. So having a great professional summary is something that I think is super important on LinkedIn. The beauty of LinkedIn versus a resume is that it really allows you to show your personality. Who are you? How'd you get where you are? And where are you going? Where would you like to be going? So having a professional summary is a definite. Get a
You-
great photo.
Yes, thank
People,
you. Talk
clients
about that.
ask,
Yeah.
clients ask me, do I need a photo?
Yes.
Absolutely. If you don't have a photo, people wonder why. So you want to get a great photo made. You can have someone take it with your iPhone. It doesn't need to be professionally taken, but you need to be professionally attired. Very
Yes.
important.
Yes. And don't crop yourself out of the wedding photo where you've got the champagne in
Exactly.
one hand, right?
Exactly. We always remind clients that it's not Facebook, it's
Right.
LinkedIn. So people are there dressed professionally and expect to find professional photos as well.
Exactly. You know what I think is so great about LinkedIn, too? Depending upon the comfort level of the individual, you can really use it as a personal website because now you can add rich media, whether it's audio files or video files. There's a blog feature, they call it a post feature on LinkedIn. So I would encourage listeners just to dovetail on what Pamela said to really utilize that. Get into the conversation, make comments on articles that you write, share things and get into the professional conversation.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, the personalization and how LinkedIn can become a personal website. As a matter of fact, anybody can personalize their LinkedIn URL to have their name. So, linkedin.com/Pamela Weinberg. So it really does act as your own personal website. And I encourage clients to put that on all the correspondence they use, on their business cards that they're going to have made. And it's a great way for people to find exactly what you want them to find about you.
Bingo, exactly. So LinkedIn is one of the many social media platforms out there, Pamela. What others would you recommend, especially for job seekers as they're out there forging a new career path?
The two others that I would say are to be on or to look into would be Facebook and Twitter. The reason why I say Facebook, and a lot of people sort of are, really Facebook for job search? The nice thing about Facebook is that it's a really different audience than LinkedIn. Typically, there's not a lot of crossover between your friends on LinkedIn and your contacts. I'm sorry, your friends on Facebook and your contacts on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
I find I get as many clients through Facebook as I do through LinkedIn. Let your Facebook friends know you're looking for a job. Put
Yeah.
it up there in your status. Post some things about yourself on your Facebook page because people who haven't seen you since elementary school or college or former jobs who you may be friends with may be just the people who could help you in your next phase of your career. So without including Facebook, you're really leaving out a whole part of your network. And Twitter, I love for job search. Twitter really allows you to do specific searches and to follow companies where you want to work, people you want to work for. And when you are following companies on Twitter where you want to work and you finally get that job interview, you're the smartest candidate in the room because
Yeah.
you know exactly what's been going on at that company for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And you can really speak very intelligently about a company or an industry by really following them on Twitter. So I think it's a terrific resource for job seekers.
I call it professional stalking, appropriate
Yes,
professional stalking,
yes,
but
yes.
you have to pursue your due diligence and really do your research and be aware of what's happening in the news if there's an organization in particular that you are seeking out. So great advice. What about Google Plus, Pamela? Are you seeing great success with Google Plus?
I have to say I'm not yet, and it's been sort of sort of a wait and see with Google Plus. I
Yeah.
think I would never count Google out. So I think that eventually people will sort of get the knack and get the hang of how to really utilize it. I haven't found it particularly useful yet at this point. Have you found it
I'm with
useful for
you.
your
I'm
business?
comforted. I'm comforted, coach to coach, to hear that because
Okay.
certainly I'm on it and I'm trying to leverage it, but I don't spend as much of my time or energy on that as I do the other platforms. So I'm with you. I think Google's extraordinary. Uh, like you, I am leveraging Facebook, Twitter, and specifically LinkedIn for
Yes.
my clients and my own personal career advancement. But as you said, Google is not down and out. They've
Right.
done great things, but I too am I'm waiting to see how I might utilize that platform better. Similarly, I'm starting to get the hang of how I can use Pinterest, right?
Oh,
Beyond just the
great.
cool
Yes.
things that we do with Pinterest now.
Yes, Pinterest and Instagram are definitely big up and comers and great platforms for people, especially who are in any kind of creative field.
Yeah.
I think that's terrific. And I know I have clients who are in creative fields who've actually gotten jobs through following certain companies and postings on Instagram, which is terrific. Just a
Yeah.
whole nother venue and
Yeah.
area.
I would add one more just for our listeners to dovetail on all the great things you've shared, Pamela. There's a relatively new social media platform called About.me. And similar to Facebook and other social media platforms, it's very visual. So extraordinarily helpful for creative types that want to go well beyond just the text of a LinkedIn profile. So again, I don't think any of these should be used exclusively or independently. They should be used collaboratively and
Yeah,
collectively. But that might be another one for
that's
listeners to check out.
that's terrific.
So tell me, what are some final tips for career reentry? I know there's so much to talk about. We could talk all day, and it's such a joy to have you. But I know you do a lot of work with your clients with goal setting and time management because getting
Yes.
back into the workforce after a hiatus is challenging.
It's very challenging. And I think one of the biggest challenges is personal accountability.
Yeah.
When you're looking for a job, you're on your own. You have no one to be accountable to. So it can also be, sort of lonely and demotivating in a
Yeah.
way. So I like to have sort of built in motivation for yourself. So set goals, either, a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, and get there and check off and check in with yourself and be honest. Did I achieve this week? what do I keep pushing to the bottom of my to-do list? Because we all push things to the bottom of our to-do list. Usually it's
Sure, it's human
networking
nature.
because it's
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing for people to do. So sort of, force yourself to be accountable and to get those things done. Set aside time. Set aside and put it in your calendar as a non-negotiable. I always tell clients, what's your non-negotiable? For some people, it's going to the gym. For others, it's taking their dog on that hour-long walk in the morning. Whatever your non-negotiable is, make this a non-negotiable. Make your job search a non-negotiable. So whether it's every day from 9 to 11 or Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 5, put it into your calendar and don't take it out. Don't double book yourself. Allow yourself the time to really get that job search going. And the last thing I would say is get together a personal board of directors for yourself. Have some people who are on your team, who are the people who you can go to, may peers, mentors, friends, family members who are supportive, and let them know what your goals are and have them gently check in on you, and ask how you're doing to meet your goals, and maybe how they can help you meet your goals better, what they can do. So it's great to have people who are really in your corner and on your team.
I'm so glad you said that, Pamela, because you don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's very hard to do it alone and lonely.
Exactly, exactly. Pamela, what a joy to have you on. I am just delighted, coach to coach. You have great, great information to share, and I know that my listeners have benefited so much from hearing you today. How can we find you online? How do we follow you? What's your website? How can we contract you as a coach?
Oh, thank you. It's pretty easy. My website is pamelaweinberg.com, which sort of makes it as easy as possible to
Yeah.
find me. And you can find me on LinkedIn the same way and follow me on Twitter at Pamela Weinberg. So if you remember my name, you'll be able to find me anywhere through Google. And I'm located in New York City, but I work with clients all over the country and now in various countries as well. So I Skype, phone call, and in-person clients for any types of job search. We spoke today about women in transition, but I work with women and men in all stages of their career development, looking for their first job, looking for an encore career, and just doing general career transitions within their fields.
And I would also add, sometimes it's nice to have a career coach as your accountability master to help you have a tune up for your current career. So it's not just job search, right? It's career management. And I know
Absolutely.
that you are an expert at that. Pamela, what a joy to have you on. I am so delighted that you and I had a chance to chat today. I hope that our professional paths cross again in person next time.
Me too. I would love that. Thank you. This was terrific. I really enjoyed speaking with you today.
Well, listen, it's my pleasure. You take good care and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds terrific.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Pamela. And I
Okay.
want to thank you all for listening to Your Working Life today, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd Higgins. Take good care.